Free Podcast, the only podcast that'll tell you to chase your dreams and call you out on all your bullshit, myself included. I got my buddy Aidan here. How do you say your last name?
Thimm.
Aidan Thimm. Here to talk about his wellness journey. He's also best friends with Brandon Kachuk, who was just on the podcast last week. So I'm bringing all the awesome homies together to talk about, your wellness journey. So you are a month sober now, is what you said?
Yes,
Okay.
a month on Tuesday.
Right.
So.
And what are you sober from? Was it just the booze, really?
Alcohol, yes.
Okay, so you didn't really have wasn't like weed or anything other than that, really?
You know, so currently I am still smoking weed at night.
Okay.
That is something I would like to stop doing in the future.
Right.
But I know myself, and it's something I know I have to be ready for. Like, quitting drinking is something I've wanted to do for a long time, but I wasn't ready to do it until it finally clicked. I'm like, enough is enough.
Right.
Like, it's time to stop.
I actually did the same thing during my sobriety, so I continued to smoke just to get rid of the other habits, which would be like the alcohol and cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because once you try and take down too many bad habits at one time, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
You're going to lose your mind, you know. So so I know how that is. And does it help you sleep at night? Is that why you're doing it?
Yeah, that's a big thing. Like, I only smoke in the evenings. I don't smoke a large quantity, but it is very much it's the end of the day. I kind of want to wind down a little bit.
It's therapeutic,
yeah,
for sure. Now, what was your inspiration to getting off the booze?
Honestly, Brandon was a huge inspiration to me. I have been drinking fairly heavily for about 10 years or so, ever since I started at Grand Valley as a freshman and got involved with the alcohol and partying culture.
Right.
And drinking is just very normal in my family. There's a lot of people that drink a lot, like functioning alcoholic level. And so it was always something that was very normalized to me. And I never thought I would give it up. I thought maybe I could pull it back and not drink so heavily. And I had several attempts at that with varying levels of success, where I would pull back, not drink a lot for a while, but then I'd go on a bender and go crazy.
And you're right back into it again.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this happened again. I'm blacking out, doing stupid stuff, feeling horrible and unmotivated to do my wellness activities.
Right.
And so really watching Brandon over the last 11 months, with him getting coached and the progress that he's made in his life in all areas, his fitness, his job, his finances, I just started to see like, wow, this is a realistic goal for me. I mean, he's having a great time sober, so if he can do it, then I can do it.
That's crazy. I mean, he is an inspirational motherfucker, though.
He is,
honestly.
He is. I mean, he was the biggest inspiration, but also, like, he introduced me to you and Muncie, and I know you guys have quite a bit of sobriety under your belt, and just introducing me to more sober people that are living their truths without alcohol.
Right. And, I think Muncie just hit his 5-year recently.
5 years.
I'm at 4.5 right now.
Right on.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was actually at a sober meetup last night. It wasn't NA or AA, but it's a group on Facebook called Sober Souls, and we just went and played just board games last night and hung out, and I actually handed out a copy of my book to everybody.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So that was actually a really cool experience. Brandon's always been like a huge inspiration to me, whether he knows it or not, and I think that's the same for a lot of people. You know, to finally see him living his truth, like you say, it's I'm really proud of him, and I know he's going to do great things. So
absolutely.
Honestly, man, like the booze, I don't miss it. I really don't. After, like you said, you've seen the progress in Brandon and where my life is right now. I actually had somebody ask me that on an episode. They're like, so you'll never drink again? And I'm like, I don't see a point.
Yeah.
I don't see a point in it. You know, physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, like it's just not even comparable, like who I am now and who I was before, you know?
Mm.
And I could see that with you as well, because you're very similar to my brother. A couple years ago, he gave up drinking too. He's on the liver and organ grind. He's training for the Olympics. He's trying to get his mile time down to like 4 minutes.
Wow.
I think he's at 4 minutes and 5 seconds right now.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so he gave up all of his bad habits, and he turned it around to kind of do the fitness thing that you're doing right now. Very, not really carnivore, but very holistic though.
Mm-hmm.
So did you always have this knowledge, or has this been something that's been happening recently, like with your eating and your working out and stuff?
So, growing up, both of my parents were always into health and wellness, especially my mother. I get a lot of my passion for health and wellness from her. She's always working out, always cooking the best meals, using organic foods, and we just grew up avoiding processed food for the most part.
Nice.
So I kind of had that firsthand experience of eating well throughout my life. And as a kid, I hated it because I wanted the fun cereals.
Oh,
I
yeah,
wanted
of
to eat
course.
the Lucky Charms and the Gushers and what have you. And my parents would never buy that stuff. But looking
Damn.
back on it, I'm like, wow, I actually was saved from that.
For sure. I mean, that's huge nowadays, though. I mean, my parents did give me that shit, though. So,
I mean, I got it at friends' houses and
Yeah, of
wherever I could
course.
find it, you know.
But to have it on like tap, like always in the house, you know, you're gonna eat it then.
Yeah, it becomes ingrained as who you are and what you do. You don't really think about it.
Right. It's the same thing with soda too.
Oh, yeah.
Now that I don't drink, I don't drink pop anymore.
Nor do I.
No.
I'm a big seltzer water guy. Like
Okay.
LaCroix or Bubblies.
All right. Yeah, I just recently got into that stuff.
Because I realized after giving up drinking, I love drinking. It just doesn't need to be alcohol.
Right.
I'm really big into the non-alcoholic beers as of late. Like watching a football game, I'll get a 6-pack of Heineken NAs and
Nice.
drink those.
Right.
And what you were saying before about how you don't miss the booze, I don't miss the way alcohol makes me feel. Because after a while, it just wasn't doing the same thing for me.
Right.
It was making me feel worse, like clouded. Like my cognition was just not working the way that it should.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some things that I will miss about drinking culture. I was a big cocktail guy, loved making cocktails, trying new cocktails, being in that like high-end bar setting.
Right.
A lot of great memories drinking light beer and partying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now with the non-alcoholic beer, I'm like, I still get to indulge in a beverage and have that community surrounding it without the negative effects of alcohol on my mind. And
yeah, the hangover.
I love that.
Yeah, my brother's big on the non-alcoholic beers, but it's also like the bubbly part. You know, that's what got me into the.
Yeah.
I'm really big into, was it Liquid Death?
I haven't tried that yet.
Really? Yeah, definitely. I'd say snag one on your trip to Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah,
right
it's a
on.
good one. Yeah, if you like LaCroix and bubbly, you definitely like that. They have flavors, but I always just go for the normal carbonated water
As
flavor.
long as it's carbonated, I'm usually fine with that.
Yeah, it's definitely good. But otherwise, I mostly just drink coffee and water. So, what happened with just upping and leaving and everything? So when I look at you, I see somebody who's lived in Colorado his whole life, though. So
I get that a lot,
For sure.
actually. Or I either get the Colorado or the California vibe from people.
You think it's the hair?
I think it's partially the
Yeah,
hair.
for sure.
With a flow like this, people expect me to be a surfer.
I mean, yeah, or a snowboarder, for sure.
Which I love all board sports. Surfing, I probably have the least experience just because I haven't lived by an ocean, but I do enjoy it. But yeah, ever since I was a kid, I've been on skis or snowboard, and I've always wanted to live and work at a ski resort. And last year presented the opportunity. I didn't have an apartment, didn't have a relationship. I just didn't have a lot of possessions, so not a lot of things tying me down. So got rid of a lot of my stuff, packed my remaining stuff into my car, and drove out to the Rocky Mountains. And it was hands down the best winter of my life.
It's badass, though. Not a lot of people have the ability to do something like that.
Yeah, everyone keeps telling me, like, do it while you're young, do it while you don't have attachments. And I'm like, yeah, I suppose that's true.
So you're going to go back every winter to Colorado now?
You know, my only plan is that I don't have a plan.
There you go. Okay.
As far as short term goes, I do have a long term vision that I'm working towards, especially after getting sober, and I can see that coming to life and not being hampered by my bad habits.
Right.
But ultimately, the next year for me is just going to be about developing those good habits. The quote I heard recently that has really resonated with me is, it's not how, it's who. It's not how are you going to manifest your vision. It's, are you the person that can do it?
Okay.
And
I like
so
that.
right now I'm working on crafting the man that can do that.
Nice.
And I think Colorado's a great spot for me to be doing that. It's a really cheap place to live where I'm at. I have access to a really nice gym and a really nice spa. I have the same hours every day, so I can get into a routine of going to the gym every day, working every day.
Right.
Just developing those good habits. And then snowboarding.
Fuck. Yeah, that's nice. So what got you on the organ diet, though? Were you always on that?
No, actually, so I'm a big follower of Liver King.
Okay.
He's one of the people I love to follow on Instagram. Not taking his word as gospel or by any means, but
Right.
I really do love the message that he preaches of kind of going back to ancestral living and doing as our ancestors did. And as far as the organ meat goes, it's extremely nutrient dense.
Mm-hmm.
It's not usually in high demand because not a lot of people like to eat it. It has a very off-putting flavor, I'll tell you that.
And texture. Yeah.
Yes. That was, when I first tried it last year, that was a huge obstacle for me. I've since found ways to eat it in a, how should I say this, less disgusting way.
Manageable.
Yeah. I'll blend it into a smoothie with some fruit and some other things. So
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so you still get a little liver flavor, but you're not trying to work through this chewy blob that you otherwise would have to do.
Right. Yeah, I mean, for how much, the nutrient density of it, there's nothing that compares to it.
And that's a big thing that he talks about, especially with the vitamin A or retinol. It is the most dense source of retinol that you can find on the planet. And you can't get that from a supplement, because the key of it coming from an animal source is the bioavailability, the ability of your body to actually integrate and
break it down. Yeah.
And retinol, that's huge for your skin. It's like collagen a little bit. Helps prevent wrinkles and keeps that natural young glow present.
I have collagen peptides I put in my workout smoothies too. I can't say I'm on that liver grind, though. My brother eats a piece of liver every day, though, I think.
Oh, right on.
I think he's been doing that, and also a piece of testicle for it's got to be a year at least,
Yeah, finally got into the testicle recently.
Yeah, he raves about it for how it's helped him with his recovery in terms of all of his workouts and stuff. So
okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's like I said, he's training for the Olympics and all of his running and stuff like that. And he's noticed a significant difference in his ability to perform while eating the liver and the testicle,
And the ancient knowledge goes back to like fixes like. So if you want to fix your heart, eat heart.
Right.
If you want to improve your virility, eat testicle.
Right.
That sort of ancient wisdom, I think, definitely has a basis in fact. And people have been doing it for thousands of years. We've just gotten away from it a little bit in the past century.
We've gotten away from a lot of things in the last century, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But I mean, we could have an entire conversation about more than just health, political, financial, and all that other crap. But yeah, I think it's an absolute disservice what the the government and the medical industry have done to the people over here in America.
Yes, it is a shame. And over the last couple years, I've really started to realize, I mean, wake up a little bit. like they say, like, getting red pilled. Like, you take the red pill from the Matrix
Right.
and you wake up to the reality of everything. And the more time goes by, the more it seems quite obvious to me that it's positioned like that for a reason. Like, the medical industry with big pharma, they want to keep you sick so they can continue selling you drugs. It's like,
right.
and like the government with their dietary guidelines, they want to make you fat. They want to make you weak because fat and weak people are compliant. And
Right.
they can push their agenda on you
Right,
more
right.
easily.
Right.
And that goes against my libertarian morals and values.
I was gonna say, libertarian or anarcho-capitalist.
Both.
Just like Brandon.
Brandon introduced me to both of those ideologies, and I mean, just after the light reading I've done on Austrian economics and free markets, I really do have a strong belief in it, whether or not it's realistic to implement in this country with everything
Right.
we have going on.
The values, though, of libertarianism and anarcho-capitalism, though, it's not if it's going to be applied to every facet of life, but the freedom thing is really big. I wouldn't consider myself a full-blown libertarian like you and Brandon, or an anarcho-capitalist like my buddy Chris is also here. I like to take little bits and pieces from everything, but definitely in terms of like authenticity and like fending for yourself, you know, being a human, eating these things like organs and stuff, actually taking care of our humanity, you know, those values are part of libertarianism, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think personal accountability is a huge one.
Oh, yeah.
That I think I lacked a lot of in the early part of my adulthood,
For sure. Yeah, same here.
and have just really come into that the past couple years. And now taking this next step of getting sober, I'm like, I really want to take care of myself to the fullest of my ability. I know I have the potential to manifest like some pretty crazy dreams that I've had, but have shoved off to the side because I was ready to settle for a mediocre life. I was ready to, you know, I could drink a little bit, I could have fun, just wanted to make enough money to be comfortable.
Pay my bills, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But something Brandon said on one of your guys' last podcasts is something like, my biggest fear was living a mediocre life.
Yeah.
And that really,
Or like,
really resonated
I think it
with
was
me.
like his quote was like something about hell, or like hell is dying and then seeing what your life could have been or something.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's some fucked up shit.
And I saw two paths ahead of me, especially like as I'm approaching 30 in the next couple years. I have a decent amount of friends in their 30s, and some are very high achieving and some are not. And I was kind of looking down the paths of where I was going to go if I continued down the path I was on. And it really scared me.
Yeah.
I don't want to look back in 50 years and be like, wow, I could have done all this stuff. I want to look back and be like, wow, I made the decisions and I
Right.
did that stuff.
Right. That self-awareness is huge. That's all. It's crazy when you get that self-awareness because of the sobriety too. Like, you've had moments like that self-awareness, but like you were saying, you were settling for a mediocre life. I was doing the same shit before I was getting sober. I'd have these spurts of like what I see my potential, my life, and then I'd be like, but I can just go and do this instead.
Yeah.
You know? And it's taking that step to finally, the clarity you get without alcohol. Like, I don't push like doing drugs on anybody. You know, I'd be a hypocrite if I told people to not try them, you know, because I did, right? But
yeah.
once you've had those experiences, treating your life optimally in a health aspect, I'd say alcohol is one of the worst fucking things for you.
Absolutely.
I'm 100%. I think it was a Friedrich Nietzsche quote that he said that organized religion and alcohol were two of the worst things for humanity. And I was like, damn, dude.
Opiates of the masses.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, But yeah, life without alcohol, once you start seeing your potential, and like you saw, like with Brandon, the fucking progress he's made in 11 months. And we were actually talking about it too. You're almost like hungry. Like, I'm 4.5 years sober, and I hit a little snag last year with like my wellness and stuff. The first year or two of my sobriety, I was just fucking hungry for change, and wellness and all this other crap, and having him come here and visit me just kind of like lit a fire under me also. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can get back to that, So I'm back to like working out 5 days a week, watching what I eat, watching what I eat and all that shit, So 2024, I'm gonna be fucking yoked. So
2024 is gonna be a great year.
Yeah, there you go.
It's the year of personal development.
I'm down with it, and it's accountability too. You got always got Muncie. Muncie gives me calls randomly to spark that with me. And I love talking to Brandon. Brandon will talk for like 2 hours on the phone though.
I do love that.
Yeah. He'll just fucking go off. But and then I have my brother here as well. But having like positive accountability, like a group, like what we're doing right now, it's huge, because you can make these changes in your own life individually, right? But revitalizing yourself around positive people is so fucking important.
If you don't have yourself surrounded with other people who are doing similar things, it makes it a lot more difficult to stick with the decisions that you've made.
Oh God, yeah, it's almost impossible.
I mean,
actually,
like that law, like you become the 5 people that you spend the most time with. That is so true.
Yeah, it is.
And if you're spending time with people that are drinking and doing drugs, it's like you're probably going to be drinking and doing drugs.
yeah, I mean, shit. Yeah, that's some truth right there. So what do you stick to any specific like workout routine? Do you do a lot of body weight exercises though, right?
Yeah, so that is something I've been kind of figuring out as of recently, because throughout my whole adult life, I've been into exercising but it's just been more of a roller coaster, because I was always drinking or doing drugs or whatever, and that could easily justify waking up one morning feeling shitty and be like, I'm not going to do it today.
Right.
But now that I'm getting into a consistent routine, so my morning routine, every morning I wake up, and my non-negotiable morning workout, I do 100 push-ups and 100 squats. So that's at least the minimum for the day. And then later in the day, this is something I've been incorporating within the past month, I do a different muscle group every day.
Okay.
So chest Monday, back Tuesday, shoulders Wednesday, biceps Thursday, triceps Friday, legs Saturday, core Sunday.
Sheesh.
No days off.
Damn, you're going 7.
Absolutely.
Holy fuck.
Because I need that. I need that consistency. It's like I can't just drink once a week. I need to be sober.
100%.
I can't take a rest day. I need to work out every day.
It's 0 to 100.
But like on days like today where like I got up early and I knew I had a big road trip ahead of me, like I still did a core workout today, but it was really light.
Right.
So if I need to rest, I'll still work out. It just won't be as intense as it otherwise would have been.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I think I have one rest day, 1 or 2. But sometimes if I play basketball for 3 straight hours, like I'm fucking gassed the next day. Like whole body's aching, Definitely. Yeah, but I don't know if I could do 7 days a week. You're on something right now. That's yeah, you got it for sure.
We'll see it. We'll see how long it lasts.
Right.
I mean, I built this whole routine at my dad's house in shoulder season where I wasn't working, so I literally had all day every day to curate this routine. Now going back to Colorado, I'm going to have to assimilate my job back into my life, so that's going to be a lot of time. Going to have to plan and prepare meals in advance instead of just cooking throughout the day.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm going to see if I burn out doing that or if I'm able to sustain it. But my fitness routine is definitely something I've been working on tweaking as of recently. So we'll continue to see how that evolves.
Yeah, I think with the job and assimilating that, it's definitely going to, and the cooking, the meals, like you said, those are 2 big things that even I struggle with in terms of a routine on a weekly basis. which I was actually just talking to my girlfriend about this, because some days during the week when you're working and maybe you have other obligations, maybe hanging out with somebody or doing something else, I just don't have time to work out. So I actually make my rest days during the week, because I know Saturday or Sunday comes around and I'm like, I have enough time to go hit a fucking workout on the weekend, you know?
I think that's smart.
Right. Because other people are like, oh, Saturday, Sunday, I'm off, you know? I don't view it like that, because if I wanted to work on the podcast or I wanted to work on writing, Saturday and Sunday are those fucking days, you know, where I don't have the rest of life's obligations to fulfill. So I might as well hit a workout on those days too.
Absolutely.
One thing I have noticed is I do a lot of push-ups now. I've started the last like 3 months, mostly because of the time constraint with work and stuff. And I think people severely underestimate body weight exercises. Like, I don't know if it's Instagram or social media in general or just the industry, but people think I have to get a gym membership and I have to go to the gym and I have to do the things that other shredded people are saying I need to do. I don't think so. I think if you got on a consistent routine of doing some fucking push-ups, sit-ups, and squats on a weekly basis, you'd be in so much better shape.
I 100% agree with you. I mean, what people don't realize about the body weight workouts is that compounds over time.
Right.
I mean, on this daily routine I'm on right now of doing 100 push-ups and 100 squats, my baseline is going to be almost 37,000 of each every year.
Yeah.
That's huge when you think about it. And that's just my baseline. I mean, I'm doing other workouts, and
right.
Some days I might do 200 or 300, 400 push-ups.
Yeah.
And while machines and free weights can be good for building extra mass, I do think people vastly undervalue body weight workouts and what it can do for you.
Right. And you don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah.
You literally just do it on the fucking floor, you know? And I do it in between points I'm playing in a video game or like a TV show. You know, I'm like, I'm just going to drop down and do 25 motherfucking push-ups, you know? And
Last weekend when I was watching football, every commercial break, I did 10 burpees.
Oh, shit.
Ended up doing like 120 burpees throughout the course of the game.
Those are tough, though. Jesus.
I love burpees. That if you want a good body weight workout that's also cardio.
Yeah.
Works everything.
I haven't done that since football. Yeah. Refuse to do those now. I'll be honest with you, man. In order to make my body weight exercises more interesting, 2 months ago I bought a weighted vest.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, 12 pounds. It had 4 on Amazon. It had a 4, an 8, and a 12. Right?
Really?
Yeah. So I'm a big anime guy. Okay, growing up, I watched Dragon Ball Z. You've probably heard of Dragon Ball Z. Yes. In that show, it was popularized like weighted clothing or weighted training. Like these martial artists would wear like 50 pounds and then still like fight normally, right? Okay. So like a very popular thing in like the anime community is like looking at that and putting on like weighted vest or weighted ankle weights. And originally I was going to get the weighted vest to help with running, you know, but after doing some Reddit searching, I realized that it's going to blow my joints out if I wear weighted anything and go on runs, right? So
it'll really start wearing on your shoulders after a while.
Yeah.
Just that weight hanging off.
And it's the knees too, though, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
And I already got bad knees from basketball, you know. So after looking into it, I do wear the weighted vest when I just go on walks.
There you go.
I go on a few 2 to 3 mile walks a week, and I just wear the vest, and then I crank out push-ups and squats with the vest on too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's another way to just add a little bit more power to your body weight exercises.
Exactly. And I don't have to go to the gym for it, you know? So it's great. Also recently got on the sauna grind.
Oh, I love saunas.
Bro, so nice.
That's honestly one of the huge reasons why I am going back to Copper is the access to the gym, but also the spa.
In Colorado, right?
Yes. So like every day after work, eat a snack, I go to the gym, crank out a workout,
hit the sauna,
and then hot tub, then steam room, then sauna.
God damn.
And when it's like -15 and windy out, and then you've been outside all day and you're just like frozen to the bone, it feels so good to just get in a hot tub, sauna, steam room, and just sit there and breathe in the steam or the cedar air.
It's so good for you, though.
It is.
Yeah, the sauna's especially good for your heart, too.
It's cardio without moving,
Yeah.
which is my favorite kind of cardio.
Dude, I saw some motherfucker jogging in the sauna last week.
What?
Like, literally, like, fucking jogging in place. And I'm sitting there, like, sweating bullets, and I'm, like, watching him. Like, there were 4 other dudes in there with me, and we're all watching him, like, jog in place. Like, this man is crazy, dude. He was fucking yoked. He was shredded, but I'm like, dude, you won't see my ass doing some shit like that.
Yeah, I honestly, like, the sauna, I go in there to relax.
Right.
Like, I enjoy the cardio of, like, after you've been in there for a while and your heart starts pumping, you're sweating bullets, and just, like, breathing deeply. But I don't need any additional exercise while I'm in there.
No, I don't know what that guy was trying to do.
Existing is enough cardio for me.
For
I
sure.
have a hard time with that.
When it's like 105 degrees or so. Well, no, it's like 140 in there
It's
usually.
like 180.
180.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. I did start doing that in the last couple weeks, though. It just sucks because it's a 20-minute drive for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I have an LA Fitness membership. There's an LA Fitness 5 minutes from here, but they don't have a sauna. So that's where I go to hoop.
Strange.
Yeah, right? But the LA Fitness 20 minutes from here has a sauna.
Okay.
So I make it a point, I guess, a non-negotiable, as you and Brandon would say, at least once a week I have to go drive there and sit in the sauna, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a very good thing to be doing. If you can do it more than once a week,
Yeah.
that's great.
I think the last 2 weeks I did twice. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's really out of the way for...
Yeah, and if it becomes an inconvenience, I totally understand that.
Right. And it just sucks because the one I'm closer to is the one I hoop at. So I got a bunch of dudes that show up there. We're all in, like, this group that we play basketball with, right?
Yeah.
My girlfriend and I were actually just at a spa yesterday. Downtown Chicago is this place called RA Baths, and it's like this warehouse that was tricked out to be a spa. It's got like 6 or 7 different hot tubs and steam rooms and shit like that. One of the hot tubs there has the salinity that mimics the Dead Sea.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
So you can float in it.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's badass. We were there. You pay for either a 45-minute, an hour and a half. Oh, and they have cold plunges there too, stationed around. There's a cold plunge in the eucalyptus or peppermint steam room.
I love eucalyptus steam rooms.
Yeah, it was fucking nice.
They had but it's actually in the
fucking
steam room?
cold plunge was in there.
That is genius.
Yeah.
Wow.
The hottest hot tub is also next to the coldest cold plunge there.
That sounds like where I would be.
It's brutal. It's brutal. Honestly, like...
How cold are we talking?
30s.
30s? Okay.
Yeah. And then that hot tub is hot as fuck. I forgot the temperature, but I'll tell you what. I go in the hot tub for like 5 minutes, that hot one, and then I'll go and do 10 seconds. I'm not a big cold plunge dude, all right? I'm not doing the shit where I'm in there for a couple minutes. I don't do that, you know?
Man.
I don't do that.
Get into
I don't know, man.
At least 3 minutes to get the benefits.
Oh, my
they
God.
say.
No, I'll work up to it at least. But after doing it for just 10 seconds in that cold plunge and then going into the super hot one, your body, like your skin, you don't feel how hot it is.
That's a phenomenon called after drop, I believe.
Yeah, it's like numb.
Because your blood, when you get into the cold, goes to your core, so it can supply your organs with blood. So most of your blood leaves your extremities.
Right.
And when you get back into the hot water, all the blood flows back into your extremities, and you get that hot blood flowing through cold veins, and it's just like...
It was tingly.
It can be painful, tingly.
Yeah, it was a little bit, for sure. But it was nice, I'd say that. We paid for an hour-and-a-half long session, and normally it's like a pretty high-end spa, so the people come and get you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But no one ever came and got us.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we actually just like ended up leaving because we were just getting pruny for 2 hours. So we just like left, you know?
Love
and
that.
I look at my phone and I'm like, holy fuck, we got an extra half hour out of that. It's like, what?
Win.
There's also a hot tub that's connected. It's inside and then there's a wall and you swim under it and it's outside.
Oh, I've seen those before. I really like those.
Yeah, it was dope. So that was kind of just like our self-care routine that we try and do. It's a little expensive though, so we don't try and do it too often.
Yeah, definitely gets expensive.
Right.
That's honestly a huge reason why I'm going back to Copper. I'm like, it's included with my employment there.
Oh God,
So
yeah, that's nice.
short walk from where I live.
How long's the season open?
So I believe we opened like last week, like November 13th. And normally the season ends April 23rd.
Okay.
But last year, I think it was open till May 8th. It was the longest season in 25 years.
Damn.
Just because the whole West Coast got hammered with snow.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm out there for 5 months.
Do you come back to Michigan after, though?
So what I did last year, after, like at the end of April, I flew down to Tampa, and I spent 3.5 weeks with my aunt and uncle down there.
Nice.
And then I flew back to Denver and pretty much immediately drove up to Big Sky. And I spent the summer in Big Sky, Montana.
Fuck.
Yeah.
What'd you do up there?
I was working for a private club called Moonlight Basin.
Okay.
And I was the valet, but didn't actually do any valet work. So I was basically the transporter for members. So
Okay.
member needs to be picked up from the airport, I go grab them.
Right.
If they need to get around the resort or into town, I take them. So pretty much driving jobs at these resorts the past couple places I've been.
It's beautiful up there, though, I bet.
Oh, it is incredible.
Fuck.
It's amazing hiking 5 minutes from where I live. Montana's never a place I thought I would go. I just never really knew much about it. And I found that job opportunity, and I ended up going there, and I fell in love with it.
Yeah, I mean, like the north, what is that considered? Northwest almost? Kind of?
I wouldn't say it's quite northwest.
It is the north, though.
But yeah, the
yeah,
north,
like
absolutely.
Montana, North Dakota. What's another one up there? I mean,
Idaho.
Idaho, Washington also. My parents took us on a lot of trips with, my mom loves camping, trailer camping, so glamping. Really.
Glamping,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
okay.
She's got a really nice fifth wheel.
Ooh,
So,
nice.
yeah, so we hit a lot of those states growing up. But, yeah, we haven't been up there recently. We go camping quite a bit, but we go camping in South Haven a lot every year.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's just like, that's a nice area. And, God, anytime I can just leave Chicago, I love it, you know.
It is nice to get away from the city.
Oh, yeah, I won't be buying here.
Yeah.
I won't be purchasing here, I'll tell you that.
I'm too much of a nature boy. I
I
totally
know.
feel that.
Yeah, same here. And it's also, it helps a lot with like my writing and overall well-being too. Like you could
Mhm.
be having a shitty day and you just go spend 30 minutes in nature and you're like, wow, life really isn't that bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Smell some fresh air,
Right.
get some sun on your skin.
Yeah. But here in the city, it's just like, wow, all I smell is like cement, trash, and trucks.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, fuck me, dude. I got to get out of here, you know?
And the Midwest winters, that is what
Whew.
really kills me.
Yeah.
I suffer from seasonal depression, as many people do.
Yeah.
And in Michigan, when the sun is gone for like 2-3 weeks at a time,
Yeah, it's gone.
I'm so depressed.
Yeah.
And Colorado actually gets the most sun of the entire nation.
In the winter.
Even more than Florida.
Really?
And so it's either a bluebird day, or just blue skies and sunshine, or it's dumping snow on us. So it's like the weather is fantastic no matter which way you spin it.
Yeah.
So you walk out in the middle of January where it's normally like dark, and you walk out, you're like, oh, it's bright, it's beautiful, I'm feeling good, I got energy.
So you're big on the sunlight thing, right?
Yes.
Sunlight in the retinas. Did you get that from Huberman, or is there somebody else who you got it from?
Liver King is
Liver
a huge
King,
component
okay.
of sunlight on the skin. I'm trying to think. I think there was someone else in the past. I think Wim Hof talks about that as well.
I've
I know.
never heard of him.
Oh, really?
Wim Hof?
So he's known as the Iceman.
Oh, okay.
He was really, I think, he brought cold plunging to my attention. My dad introduced me to Wim Hof like 3 years ago or so. And he holds all of these world records where he can like sit in an ice bath for 15 hours and not change his core body temperature. So he's participated in a lot of research that previously was thought like we cannot control our autonomous I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Autonomous nervous system.
Yeah, like homeostasis regulation.
Yeah, like things that are performed to keep our body in homeostasis,
Right.
like you said. It was thought that we could not influence that. He proved that we can influence it, that you can actually stimulate the flow of adrenaline through your body, to keep yourself warm
Right.
when you get in those extreme cold conditions.
He's been doing that for years, though, right?
Yeah.
He's just been training
He
almost.
climbed Mount Everest in shorts. With
Oh,
no
it's this
shirt.
guy for sure. This guy's fucking crazy, though.
Yeah, he is. And I love when people call me crazy. I've been into cold plunging ever since I found out about it and
God.
have gotten progressively better at it. And I'll tell you, the benefits from it are incredible, but
What do you see as the benefits? What do you get from it that you didn't see before?
well, the immediate benefit that you get is the dopamine rush.
Right.
I mean, cold plunging is rarely a pleasant experience. If it's in water that's not super cold, like when I was up visiting Brandon in October in Sutton's Bay, I was jumping in the lake and it was cold, but it was like bearable. I was like sitting in there enjoying it. But if I'm jumping in the Au Sable River in January where the water is 33 degrees and it's moving, that's like okay, I got to seriously prepare for this.
Yeah.
Because it can be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing.
Right. And I'll say you can actually have a panic attack too, like you're almost fight or flight, you know, if you do it, if you're not mentally prepared for something like that.
Yeah. And if your breathing gets away from you
Yeah.
and you start
Hyperventilating.
shivering,
Yeah.
that's when the hypothermia can set in.
Fuck.
But if you keep your breathing under control and you take those long, deep breaths and focus on like generating warmth throughout your body, it works. I mean, I've done 3 minutes in a 33-degree river, and when you're in moving water, it is more difficult because you don't get that thermal layer that builds up around your body when you're in still water.
Oh.
So that's the intense cold plunging I've done.
So the dopamine is just kind of like almost like the adrenaline of the moment, right? And shortly after, are there any long-term positive effects for cold plunging?
It's very good for your cardiovascular system and your immune system, similar to how saunas work.
Oh.
Both of those systems are positively influenced by that, especially if you're going hot to cold, cold to hot. I've heard varying things of you're supposed to do cold first or you're supposed to do hot first or it doesn't matter. So I can't speak on that specifically, but I know that's big in like Scandinavian countries where they will saunas are very popular up there. So they'll go in the sauna, do a cold plunge, go back in the sauna.
Fuck.
I've always enjoyed the back and forth.
Okay.
And it's about building anti-fragility, you know, like making your body less fragile to shocks.
Doing uncomfortable things.
Yeah, doing uncomfortable things. If you're not doing it for any other benefits, do it to get uncomfortable. That's how I feel about the liver too. Like, yeah, it has all of these benefits to eating it, but it's a disgusting piece of raw meat, and you got to make yourself do it. Like, get uncomfortable. Do something that you don't want to do to build that anti-fragility up.
Do you think we're too comfortable here in America?
Oh, absolutely. Our whole lives are built around comfort.
Yep.
I mean, just finally breaking out of this comfort zone of getting sober. I mean, alcohol was my comfort zone. I always knew I had that thing to go back to, fall back on, not think too much, not feel too much.
Right.
I mean, you know, with all the streaming subscriptions, people love to just bury themselves in watching television.
Right.
And
Everything they could want, food and item-wise, is ordered right to your doorstep.
Yep. You don't have to leave your house. Social media is crazy. I mean, it can be such a useful tool, but also such a harmful vice.
Oh, God, it's dangerous.
I mean, even if I have too much free time, I get addicted to Instagram. I'm just like scrolling.
It's the reels, man.
The reels get me.
They get you.
But I have recently started consciously curating what I do on Instagram, and I've been starting to produce content instead of consume content.
Right. There you go.
That's what I'm doing with that new Instagram I dropped last week.
Yeah.
I'm just showing my story, showing what I do on a daily basis to be healthy and well, and I hope to build a following with that and inspire as many people as I can to do the same.
Hell yeah. I'm going to drop links for that too.
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be in the link for, it's up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts and stuff. So if people click in the description, then your handle will come up.
Right on.
Yeah. I still got to get around to doing some shit like that. I don't like putting out content.
I don't either. It's
God,
so uncomfortable.
I hate it.
And as a libertarian, like, I'm a very private person. Like, if I could just disappear off social media and be
Right.
off the grid, I would.
Right.
But I've come to the point in my life where I think social media is ultimately your resume to the world.
Yeah.
And some people have really highly sought after skills that they can use to provide for themselves. They don't need to be on social media. But unfortunately, I graduated from university and don't really have any marketable skills besides spending 10 years in the service industry bartending, and I don't want to go back to that.
No.
That being in that environment, I don't think is going to be healthy for me.
Oh God, no.
So I have a passion for health and wellness, so I'm trying to share that with the world.
Nice.
So getting out of my comfort zone, posting myself on Instagram, it still feels very weird talking to the camera.
I know. I'm not about it really.
And even like this is my first podcast. I'm not used to doing this kind of thing.
You've been great with this though.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I tend to like doing this more than talking to my phone though. You know, because this feels like a more authentic conversation than me like.
Yeah, we're just sitting here talking to each other.
Right. Instead of like me talking to my phone. Oh, I got to do a retake. I got to take a picture of myself. Oh, I got to take a picture of this. You know, like people need to know what we're doing with our lives, which is, I don't like taking a moment to like show people my life because I like just being in the moment.
Yes,
you know?
And that is hard to find that balance too.
It is.
And eventually, I know something Brandon has been talking about is outsourcing social media production.
Yeah, to somebody else. Yeah,
like,
that's the
okay,
goal.
Here's all this content. Do something. Build a reel for me. Put out like post content every day.
Right.
Because what I'm realizing, it does take a lot of time.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
dropped my morning routine reel yesterday morning, and just I filmed it all, and then just putting it all together, trying to sync it up, make it look like somewhat professional. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it does. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
That's why I actually, you know, like with these cameras and everything, I've been trying to get to a more professional place with that, you know. I know I got to start getting up on that content other than this content, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just be an author and a podcast host,
Yeah.
you know, but the world doesn't want that anymore. The world wants a face that they can put to those things and accomplishments and those skills, right?
The world wants to hear your story.
They do, yeah, but they also want to see what's happening around the story. Like, how does he wake up? What does he do when he wakes up?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are his favorite things to watch on TV? What are his favorite things to eat? What are his favorite workouts to do, you know? If I do a sobriety and wellness podcast, people need to know about it, you know?
Absolutely.
So I'm slowly coming to terms with that, you know? But like,
you can also use social media to get a feel for what people want to see.
right, yeah.
I've been doing that, like, hey, what have you enjoyed from my content so far? And I don't get a ton of feedback, but the feedback I do get, I use that. Like, okay, people want to see the meals I'm eating. People want to see the workouts I'm doing.
Right.
People want to just see inspirational, motivational messages. So.
Right. I think I'm in the same genre, too. I just got to fucking do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like the podcast audio, the video, and then still writing, like it gets to be a lot, and social media has fallen down on my my hierarchy, I should say, you know.
Yeah, that's totally understandable.
Right. But you know, doing uncomfortable things is how we grow though, right?
100%.
Fuck. Yeah. Yeah, I'll get around to that, but so you got anything else? What are you thinking?
So you like anime, and I don't like anime.
I do like anime. I do. I love anime, actually.
So I was laughing listening to the last podcast where you and Brandon were talking shit about my dislike for anime.
That was him, though, first of all. He got me going on it, though.
And I was like, okay, maybe this will be a good opportunity to talk about why I don't like it, or to even just think about it, because it's something I've talked shit about for a while.
What do you not like about it?
I think it really boils down to the way that it's animated.
Okay.
Like the choppiness of the animation.
Right.
It just like triggers something in my mind that I really don't like it.
Do you view it as like cartoony? Is that why?
I wouldn't say that because I enjoy other cartoons like Rick and Morty. I love the way that's animated.
Yeah, like adult animation, adult
Yeah.
comedy animation. Yeah.
But and like even I was really big into the Pokemon video games when I was a kid and the trading cards. But I could never watch the show. It bothered me.
Yeah,
too
it
much.
was. Yeah, I watched the show a little bit. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, by the way,
Okay.
too. Yeah, really big on that shit. Yeah, the anime was like, like the games and the cards were where it was at.
I love those 16-bit games.
Oh, I love that shit.
Oh yeah, and you got that new what's it called?
It's the Analog Pocket.
Analog Pocket.
Bruh.
That thing looks awesome.
Yo, it's sexy. When I was unboxing it too, like my girlfriend's sitting there, and I took the box off, and I'm like, oh, it's so sexy. And she goes, are you okay? I'm like, yeah.
Wish I would have had this 20 years ago.
I know, dude. It's literally like you can put in Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance games, and it's HD.
That's so
It's
wild.
so crisp. It's crazy. I actually had to like go through a process of like cleaning all the games out professionally, like undoing the cartridges, cleaning all the
Yeah, I
pins
saw you
and
were
shit.
doing like some soldering work.
Yeah, I was doing some soldering work with like the batteries on the Pokemon games. I went like super deep in that hole. But yeah, I couldn't get into the Pokemon anime at all. But
Well, yeah, for me, it's like an overarching all anime. It's the way that the choppy animation does something to my brain. That
Okay.
My autistic self just does not
like it. No.
Like, and a lot of my friends are into anime. Like, I'm one of the few people that I can think of that doesn't like anime. But
Right.
It's just one of those things.
Well, you like Rick and Morty. Do you like when those like the action scenes in Rick and Morty when it just gets super out of hand? There's explosions, things flying all over the place.
Yeah,
that animation looks crisp though, right?
It does.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it's like the repeat, like in an anime, like a running scene. Like they repeat 2 frames, like back
Over
and
and
forth.
over. Yeah.
And it's like that. I think that's the big reason after thinking about it. I don't think there's any underlying reason why I dislike it besides
the animation.
what it does to my brain.
Right. I would say that depending on the anime you're watching, so if you're watching things like Pokemon or even Dragon Ball Z or like the extremely popular ones, those studios have to pump out episodes on like a weekly basis. It's almost like South Park, you know.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know, so they're reusing frames and clips and shit like that, you know. The higher end anime though, like where they're dropping, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars on episodes and they get years to like produce it, like the animation is totally crispy, you know. They're not reusing the same shit like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't watch anime for, I mean, it's aesthetically pleasing to me because, well, I don't watch any of the choppy ones really anymore. You know, that was like growing up. I watched Dragon Ball Z. I would put that in that category too. A lot of people watch other popular ones like that, but the stuff I watch now is definitely animated better. But most of the reason I watch it is for like the philosophy behind it. Like the story, the character development, like the super fucked up shit almost. Like with like Attack on Titan, there's so many underlying themes and there's PTSD, there's war crimes, there's like character development, there's anti-heroes. There's so many fucking things going on that there's so many things that American television won't touch on, you know? So when I started watching these shows, I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm like rocked that they even like said some shit like that, you know, because I hadn't seen that in American television. Like over in Japan, they don't give a fuck really, you know. They're fucking crazy.
Can offer quite a different perspective.
Right. I mean, after World War II, they couldn't have an army, so they're like, oh, we're just gonna dump all of our money into technology and art, you know, and then you know you have what you have today. So
would you look at that?
Yeah, a lot of it is like my inspiration for like wellness or like doing the impossible, chasing your dreams and stuff like that, overcoming hardships and stuff. Like a lot of the characters that I've watched have inspired me in one way or another to chase my dreams, which is the main reason why I watch them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's definitely like a more deeper meaning. It's not just like fight scenes and shit like that, you know. Yeah, I think like there's that picture right there. My sister handmade that.
Really?
Yeah, she did that for my 2-year sobriety mark. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she asked me one day, she goes like, what are your 10 favorite animes or 10 favorite characters. And I told her, and I'm like, oh, why? And she goes, oh, I was having a conversation with my friends about it, and played it off like, oh, whatever. And then she handed me that on my 2-year sobriety mark, and it's like my favorite characters, and they all have a quote at the bottom of it. So I'm just really big on that shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I respect that. I think that's really important, what you feed your mind, if you're feeding it positive messages from
Right.
the TV that you watch.
Yeah, not reality TV or some...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even for a long time, my favorite shows, the protagonists, I get so identified with them.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm watching Mad Men, Don Draper, he's a fucking alcoholic. I'm watching Hell on Wheels, Cullen Bohannon, alcoholic. Like, I'm watching all of these shows where the protagonist is just glorifying alcoholism. And,
Right.
and
Rick and Morty.
yeah, Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty,
it's
yeah.
just, like, one of those things. And I became very aware of that. So now I have to, like, be careful what I watch or how much I watch.
Right.
Like, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Love that show,
Yeah.
but I can't watch too much of it because
No.
it's just degeneracy.
Trailer Park Boys.
Yep, Trailer
Yeah,
Park
same
Boys.
shit. Yeah. I can't say I don't watch, like, Family Guy is probably one of my favorite, like, adult animation shows, along with,
Okay.
like, Rick and Morty and South Park, and I'll love those shows forever. I won't stop loving them, but there's, like, a certain threshold of, like, after you're done watching, you're like, all right, my brain feels kind of kaput right now. Like,
Yeah.
wasn't doing really much thinking, and, like, Peter's an alcoholic. Like, the glorification of alcoholism as a joke is seen in media all over the place, and yeah, I try not to vibe with those protagonists anymore at this point,
Yeah.
So I actually have to still watch the new Rick and Morty season, but it's airing right now.
Oh yeah, I have not seen any of season 7.
Season 7,
I
yeah.
just finished catching up on season 6.
I did the same thing,
which
yeah.
I thought was pretty good. I thought season 5 was a little iffy.
Yeah, I mean the newer, it's not the first 3 seasons.
Yeah. Well, and now they got rid of Justin Roiland. I'm not sure
Yeah.
when exactly that happened.
So for this new season,
Okay,
This is
so
it, season
he
7.
did season 6, but
Yeah.
not season 7.
yeah, you can tell a difference, but it's not noticeable.
Yeah.
There's so many people that can imitate those voices.
Back in like 2017, when I was watching 5 hours of Rick and Morty every day, my Rick impression was
That's
solid.
right. Yeah. Same here.
It's not quite so good anymore, Morty, but it used to be really good. I'm just a washed up voice impressionist now.
Oh, geez, Rick, I don't know about this.
Another thing I respect about Brandon, he can do so many voices.
Yeah.
Always makes me laugh.
He's a character, though, for sure.
Yes.
Brandon hasn't like watched a lot of anime either, though. He's watched a couple of them. But yeah, he definitely wanted to give you shit for that. So
I appreciate that.
yeah. I think that I think we did a good job on this episode. Do you have anything that you would like to say to my listeners? Anything inspirational, or how do you think people can overcome their misconceptions about themselves to live a healthier life?
Well, what I will say is everybody's on their own journey, and everybody takes a different amount of time to grow and evolve, and some people never get to that point. And I guess what I would like to say is I'm doing my best to inspire as many people as possible, especially the people that might not have ever evolved on their own, that I can be like the shining light that helped them see their potential. So I guess I'm going to keep putting out as high of quality content as I can. I'd really appreciate if anybody's interested, if they want to follow my wellness journey, you can follow at my Instagram. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'm always open to feedback. You want to see me do some crazy shit, I'll take it into account and I'll do it and I'll film it.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I felt very free here today. So
Feel free.
thanks so much for having me, John.
Absolutely. This was a damn good conversation. Really appreciate you coming by. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram for his wellness journey. I'm going to be dropping links in the description. Appreciate everybody coming out today. So stay up and feel free.